Hi, YouTube. So I'm going to tell you guys my labor and delivery story with my second son. This story is a little bit more interesting and just has a little bit more going on. So let's get it popping. So with my second son, I was 39 weeks and some days, I can't remember. I know I was 39 weeks when I had him. And, excuse me, had a mini burping inside. So I was completely full term. He was ready to come out. I was a week from my due date. And I remember a few days before that, I had a doctor's appointment and he was like, oh, I think he said I was 2 centimeters dilated or 1.5 or something like that. And he was like, if he doesn't come next week, then, you know, I'm going to induce you and take him from you. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever. Really didn't want to be induced, but okay. I remember one day I was walking to Walmart, and don't forget when I tell you this, because my whole pregnancy with my second son, I walked about 2 to 3 miles a day, sometimes 4. I will walk all the time, every day, so don't forget when I tell you this, okay?
Don't freak out.
I was walking to Walmart. It was about a 2-mile walk, and I remember on my way back, about halfway to my destination, my house, I started having really, really horrible cramps. Like, I was like, oh my God, like the bottom of my stomach just hurt so bad. I just felt like I had a Charlie horse in my stomach. I was just like, ugh. Like, it just hurt so bad. Like, every time I tried to walk, it was like something was like in my stomach, just like punching me. And then I had to stop, and I stopped at this restaurant, and those people were so nice. Like, they came outside and was like, oh my God, are you okay? Because like at that point I had to sit down on the ground on the sidewalk because like it was hurting so bad. And they were like, no, you need to get up, you need to get up. So then my mom, you know, helped me up, and he got me inside the restaurant. Well, not inside the restaurant, but you know how some restaurants have a place where you can eat outside? That's where I was. And they gave me cold water and a cold towel, and I put the cold towel on my stomach to, you know, maybe the pain will go away. And I sat there for about 30 minutes and the pain left. So I was like, okay, weird. So I got home. I felt perfectly fine. I was like, oh, I feel fine now. I ate some dinner and I went to bed. And I woke up and I had some marshmallows and I was watching Grimm. It's a really good series. Yeah, I should watch it. Okay, watch it. I was watching Grimm and I was just sitting down eating my marshmallows, and I was like, oh, I have to poop. You know, early in the morning, I'm like, I gotta take a crap. So I went to the bathroom. I'm like, trust in the toilet. I'm like, nothing's coming out. So I'm like, okay, weird. Maybe I'm constipated. I don't know. So I went back in the room and I had a birth ball. So I was leaning on the birth ball, trying to watch Grimm, start eating a marshmallow, and I was like, crap, I have to poop again. So I went to the bathroom, nothing came out. So I went back in there. I'm like, okay. So I sat in the birth ball, you know, trying to move around. And then I got to the point where I couldn't even eat my marshmallows because I was in pain. I'm just sitting there like, okay. So then I just, you know, I was sitting down on the birth ball, so I got up and I was leaning on it. And then at this point, I was on my hands and knees. After I was leaning on the birth ball, I got on my hands and knees. And I was just like, yeah, on my hands and knees in the doggy position. Anyway, I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I have to poop. I was like, I think I'm in labor. I think I'm having contractions. So I called my mom because she had just left to go to the store with my big brother, and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm in labor. So I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, I think I'm in labor. And she was like, are you sure? Because, you know, I had like 2 false labors previous before that. So I'm like, I feel like I have to poop. And she was like, oh, you're in labor. So they came back to the house to get me, and luckily the hospital was literally like 5-7 minutes away from, you know, my house. So I was like, good. So I was in the car, I was sitting in the car, Braeden was driving, and it hurt so bad to sit down. Like, I was like, oh, I had to keep moving different sides because it was hurting so bad. Like, my butt was hurting, like something was just coming on my butt. And I got to the hospital, and then, you know, they told the people at the front desk, you know, she's in labor, she's having contractions. So they got me in a wheelchair, and I sat in the wheelchair. And then they were taking me upstairs. The lady got me all hooked up to the machine and everything, because with my second son, I did have the Group B strep test done, and it was positive. So she got me up there and got me hooked up right away. And she was like, you know what, let me check you to see how dilated you are. She checked me, and she was like, you're 5 centimeters.
You're 5 centimeters.
And I was like, I'm what? Like, yeah, I was literally just at the house having these contractions, and I get to the hospital and she's like, you're 5 centimeters. And I'm just like, what if the day before, like, I was probably in labor or having my contractions the day before. And when I was at the hospital, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 5 centimeters. Like, if I would have waited any longer at home, I can imagine I would have delivered him because that was crazy. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And she's like, yeah, you're definitely in active labor. So she was like, I'm gonna get you to the other room, because they have one room where I guess they just check you to see if you're in labor or whatever. And she was like, I'm gonna get you to the labor and delivery room because you're about to have this baby. She's like, did your water break? I'm like, no, I don't think so. So as I stand up to get into the wheelchair to go into the labor and delivery room, my water just goes. Ew. I was like, okay, my water just broke. She's like, oh, okay, now your water broke. And then she immediately got me to labor and delivery. And then I was in there, and she was doing so, she wanted to check the baby's heartbeat, so she got me hooked up to the machine. And I was like, ma'am, I can't lay, like, I couldn't lay down. It hurt so bad to lay down. Like, I felt like something was coming out of my butt. Like I said, it hurt so bad. I'm like, I can't lay down. It hurts. So I was like, can I, like, walk around, because it hurt really bad? And she was like, oh yeah, you can walk. We try to encourage, you know, women that are in labor to walk, because it's better for them. And I'm like, yeah, because I need to walk or something, because I can't lay down. So she was like, that's fine. So I'm walking around with the little, I guess, little pole stick thingy with the IV in my arm, walking up and down the hallway. And I'm walking like towards back to my room, because I walked down the hallway and I was coming back towards my room, and I stopped. And I was literally on the wall like this. And I was like, I have to push. I'm like, I'm gonna push. And so I'm like, oh, and I'm over here trying to push. And she's like, no. Stop pushing, stop pushing. And I'm like, no, I can't. I have to. And I'm just sitting there, and she's like, no. So she's like, we get you in your room. So she got me up, and, you know, my mom was there, and my friends were there, and they were trying to help me up to get me in the room. So I got in the room, and she was like, you know what? Let me check you again. So I lay down, and she was like, oh, you're 8 centimeters. And I was just like, okay. So I kept trying to push, and, you know, my baby daddy's mom was like, is she supposed to be pushing because, you know, she's only 8 centimeters and I trying to be 10, like she's supposed to be pushing? And she was like, yeah, she can push. Like, she was like, her body would tell her what to do. You know, just if she feels like she needs to push, she can push. And she was like, okay. And as I was pushing, TMI, but as I was pushing, and I guess I thought it was the baby, it was crap. Yes, I'm one of those women that crapped on themselves during labor on the freaking table. I crapped. And the lady had to come, and she cleaned it up. And I was like, oh my God, so embarrassing. So then after she cleaned the crap up, she checked me one more time, and she was like, okay, you're 9 centimeters. She's like, let me go get the doctor. So she got the doctor. Sadly, my doctor didn't deliver me. She had to get some other lady doctor, and she came in there. She was like, all right, you ready to have a baby? She was coming in there, you know, they got the lights set up to look at my vagina. All, you know, the lights are just bright, just shining on your vagina. Shine bright like a diamond. Or this case, shine bright like a vagina. I don't know. But I don't know my vagina. And I was like, okay, so I just pushed. Like, they didn't tell me when to push, when I had contractions to push. I was just pushing because I just wanted him out, and I feel like I had to push. So as I was pushing, she's like, okay, you know, and she's like, I can see the head. And literally, I guess this is true, I don't know for all women, but I felt the ring of fire. It burned so bad. Like, when his head was coming out, it burned. And then I guess after his head was out, it stopped burning. Then the rest of him came out, and she was like, all right, you're done. And I was like, oh my God. It felt like so much better. I just feel like I took the biggest crap of the year. And then when she went over there to weigh him, he was 8 pounds. And I was like, I pushed out an 8-pound baby. I was like, oh my God, like I didn't even know he was that huge. And I was like, wow. Because my first son was 5 pounds and this son 8 pounds. So you can go 5 to 8. That's a big difference. I was just like, whoa. And after all that was done, I had a 2nd-degree tear. She had to stitch me up, blah, 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 unfortunately. And after she stitched me up, everything was said and done, and I felt so much better. Honestly, because with the epidural and getting the induction, I did not like that with my first son. The epidural hurt, the induction hurt, I didn't like that. But with this one, it was natural, and it really didn't hurt as much. Like, honestly, the labor really didn't even hurt as much with my 2nd son. So I was just like, oh, this is not as bad. So that is pretty much it. And then he was in the world, born, yay, woohoo. I was in labor for about probably 7 hours, 6, maybe even longer the day before. Maybe I was in labor, I was asleep, I don't know. But I know when I was at the hospital, he came in like 7 hours, 6, 7 hours. So that was awesome. And all to you new people, subscribe. And you old people, just keep waiting on videos to come because they will come. But anyway, bye guys.